Have you ever heard of something that sounded completely normal until you realized there was something darker behind it? Tonight isn't about ghosts or legends. It's about real people, real events, and mysteries that feel disturbingly close to home. Moments that prove the unexplainable doesn't always hide in the dark. Sometimes it walks right beside you. If you've ever felt that strange chill when something normal didn't feel right, drop an I in the comments. Let's see how many of us have noticed the weird between the lines. At number 1, the Dyatlov Pass incident, Russia, 1959. A group of young hikers set out across the frozen wilds of the Ural Mountains, laughing, filming, chasing the thrill of untouched snow. Days later, rescuers found their camp in ruin. Bodies scattered across the slope, barefoot, half-dressed, flesh torn open as if fleeing from something unseen. One skull was crushed with impossible force, another's tongue gone. Their tent ripped from the inside like they were desperate to escape. Authorities called it an unknown force of nature. But nature doesn't leave you running into the dark without a fight, does it? At number 2, Toxic Lady, Gloria Ramirez, California. She walked into the ER for shortness of breath, pale, trembling, and terrified. But within minutes, something felt wrong. Nurses started coughing, gasping for air, collapsing one by one. Her skin glistened with an oily greenish sheen. The air around her smelled sharp, metallic, like ammonia and burnt garlic. Doctors rushed to help, but even through their masks, the fumes made their eyes water and their chests tighten. The emergency room turned to chaos. Patients wheeled out, staff fainting mid-sentence. When it was finally over, one nurse was hospitalized. Another never returned to work. Her name was Gloria Ramirez, but to everyone who survived that night, she would forever be known as the Toxic Lady. At number 3, the vanished village of Alaska. An entire Inuit village, dozens of people, vanished without a trace. When a neighboring trapper arrived days later, he found doors wide open, lamps still burning, and dinners half-eaten on the tables. The sled dogs were still there, starved to death, frozen in place, their chains unbroken. There were no footprints leading away, no signs of struggle, and no indication of where anyone went. Some say the villagers left suddenly, following a strange light in the sky. Others whisper about spirits of the tundra, reclaiming what was theirs. But the strangest detail remains. To this day, not a single official report or record of the investigation has ever been found. It's as if the village itself, and everyone in it, was erased from history. At number 4, the worldwide hum. It's been reported in the UK, the US, and even deep in the Australian outback, a constant, low-frequency hum that seems to come from nowhere. Only a small percentage of people can hear it, a deep, vibrating drone that never stops. It doesn't show up on recordings. No microphones, no sensors, no scientific equipment can detect it. For some, it's a mild annoyance. For others, it becomes torture. Sleepless nights, headaches, paranoia. They move towns, change houses, even cross oceans. But the hum follows. Governments have launched studies, engineers have tested theories, yet no explanation holds. If you were the only one who could hear it, a sound that never fades, how long before you'd wonder if it's real or if it's you? At number 5, the Cecil Hotel and Elisa Lam. A college student was caught on CCTV behaving strangely in a hotel elevator, pressing every button, stepping in and out, hiding as if someone unseen was following her. She waved her hands, whispered to no one, then disappeared down the hallway, never to be seen alive again. Days later, hotel guests began complaining that their water tasted strange. When maintenance checked the rooftop tank, they made a horrifying discovery: her body floating inside. There were no signs of forced entry, no explanation for how she got onto the locked roof or into the sealed tank. For weeks, the guests had been drinking that water. Sometimes, horror doesn't need a monster, just a mystery that refuses to make sense. Which of these so far hits you the hardest? Comment the number below. I'm reading them all, and the scariest one might be next. At number 6, the Georgia Guidestones explosion. In a quiet field in Georgia stood a mysterious monument. 4 granite slabs, engraved with messages in 8 languages. They were guidelines for rebuilding civilization after an apocalypse. Strange, idealistic, and deeply controversial. Then one summer night, an explosion shattered the silence. By morning, the Georgia Guidestones were nothing but rubble. A monument meant to guide humanity, now destroyed by it. Security footage showed a flash of light, a lone figure fleeing, and then nothing. No suspects, no motive. The remains were quietly cleared away. Maybe it was vandalism, maybe a warning, or maybe someone didn't want humanity to be guided anymore. At number 7, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370A, massive commercial jet. Hundreds of passengers, crew, and luggage simply vanished from the sky. No distress call, no radar trace, no debris ever found floating on the ocean. In an age where satellites can spot a single car from space, something this large disappearing feels impossible. Search teams scoured thousands of miles of ocean. Governments launched investigations, and experts offered theories: hijacking, mechanical failure, even black holes or secret cover-ups. But every answer only raised more questions. Families still wait by their phones, hoping for a call that will never come. And every night, someone stares at the horizon wondering, how can a plane just vanish into nothing? At number 8, the Taos Hum, New Mexico. For years, residents of Taos, New Mexico, have reported hearing a strange, low hum, a deep mechanical vibration that seems to come from nowhere. Day and night, it lingers, like an invisible engine buried beneath the earth, humming endlessly. Scientists arrived with sensors, sound recorders, and even seismographs trying to capture it. Nothing. No sound waves, no frequencies, no evidence it even exists. And yet those who hear it say it never fades. It follows them, even miles away. It's not in the air, they say. It's in the ground, almost like the planet itself is alive and restless. At number 9, Green Children of Woolpit, England. 2 children appeared in a field, skin tinted green, speaking no known language. They said they came from a world underground, where everything was green. One child died soon after. The other slowly lost her color and learned English. She described a sunless land and people who never aged. Villagers swore the children feared the sunlight, hiding their eyes, trembling at its warmth. And when she finally disappeared years later, no one saw where she went, only that the forest lights glowed brighter that night. Was it folklore, or an ancient encounter with something not human? Lastly, number 10, time slip phenomenon. People claim to walk into streets that suddenly change. Different buildings, old cars, people in vintage clothes. Then, a blink later, it's gone. Most call it imagination. But security cameras have caught strange flashes, shadows that don't belong in this time. Some even report hearing voices speaking in languages no one recognizes, echoing from empty streets. Others come back with old coins or objects that shouldn't exist anymore. If reality is just a layer, what happens when it tears? The truth is, the world isn't as predictable as we want it to be. We live between patterns, where science meets chaos. And sometimes, the answers aren't meant for us. These mysteries aren't about the supernatural. They're about us. How little we know about the world we walk in every day. Which one felt the most real to you? Comment your theory below, and don't forget to subscribe to Real Take Unfiltered, where the everyday meets the unexplained.